It is the last day of May and here I am recording a video with a few updates and plant favorites of this month. I should say that this month was quite outstanding in terms of the plant growth. The reason why is of course the grow lights here. They helped a ton. Never underestimate the power of the grow lights, the power of the sufficient light for your plants. The changes are massive. We've got growth that we were not expecting to get, and I am so proud. So let's get started with the first plant, propagation plant, whatever. The first thing that I want to share with you today is of course this little Monstera cutting, which actually got a second leaf. If this is not serious improvement, then what is? This cutting was a survivor from a huge root rot that happened to a Monstera pot that we had, so I took the liberty to get it and just put it in water because I wanted to grow something in water. This plant was the lucky one. We have a huge root growth, so many roots. This aerial root, of course, it looks stunning. Here it created a kind of split. And yes, we've got the second leaf. It is doing great. And the second plant of today is actually in here too, and it is this Verrucosum cutting. If you remember, when I first bought a Verrucosum, it had really critical states of root rot. So I tried to just propagate some pieces. This one was the only that made it. 1 growth point, 2, 3, and I think 4. And to be honest with you guys, I've been not expecting that we would get any growth from these little branch. I thought that it was completely gone, but I saw that it remained green and I did not let my hopes get really down. I just kept on waiting and waiting and waiting, and eventually, right now that we have spring, the weather is getting warmer and warmer, this thing has growth at last. The third plant with a huge update is actually the dragon's tail, which eventually got this beautiful splitted leaf. It looks stunning. I am so excited because all these leaves here were the leaves of a young plant. They did not have the complete form. This one still has not the complete form, but it is a huge improvement. Something that I've been not waiting for something like this. And here we have new growth, aerial roots. It is looking stunning. I am so proud of this leaf here. Never dare to say otherwise. It looks really beautiful. And the whole growth, we just want to keep going with this speed. We're going to have a huge plant in no time. And guys, this one might be the easiest plant that I ever cared for, actually. It needs nothing, just a little of water when you see that the leaves become droopy. Of course, de-dust it when it gets dust on the leaves, but overall it needs nothing. Light, bright light, water when they get droopy, and that's it. Also, it is really easy to spot pests in these leaves, so this is something that won't make you worry a lot. I mean, it is really pest resistant. Okay, seriously now, I'm sure that you have seen some sun-stressed succulents, is that right? Well, when the succulents are left in the sun for prolonged periods, they have really bright light, they tend to change their color. And they are beautiful. But have you ever seen a Hoya that has been sun stressed. They actually turn red, and this is the stunning result of the sun stress in Hoyas. I am absolutely obsessed. Keep in mind that this sun stress comes from the grow light. I don't think that it will actually bother or harm the plant. It is not the same as leaving it in the summer sun for a lot of hours. In there it will get burned, but in here it is kind of protected. It is just creating this wonderful color and this massive growth. Most people complain about the Hoya's growth, that they do not grow that fast, but I have to say that this one has a really fast growth, and I am so excited to just see it growing and growing and growing. If this doesn't make you fall in love with Hoyas, I just don't know what to say. I mean, this plant is so beautiful that it can remind you of a Hoya, it can remind you of a Philodendron Pink Princess, and the care is also easy. You just need a lot of light, don't overwater, and that's it. Let's move on to the next plant. This little fuzzy petiole philodendron. If you remember, here we had an accident where the leaf broke and the new leaf that was coming out of there got stuck inside of this broken kind of piece, and now it is turning brown. I could just get sad about it, but I'm actually positive about it because we have a small new plant, a small new fuzzy here growing that has a lot of new growth, and we also have another one really tiny one here, and the leaf that turned brown, it doesn't actually bother me, so I will just let it be and I will keep on waiting to see the new growth here, because the positive thing is that the part that broke does not affect the whole plant, so we will get new leaves and we actually have new roots here. So if we wanted to propagate it, we could, but I don't want to. So let's move on. Number 6 is this weird looking Scindapsus that has a lot of new growth due to the grow light. This leaf got stuck. Oh no, it grew curly. Anyway, the growth here is really good. Look at this. This actually hit at the top of the shelf because I had it like this in order to get it closer to the grow light. So it kept on growing and growing and growing, and it found some resistance from the shelf. And here is another leaf, another gorgeous leaf. It looks nice. I admit the fact that it is kind of weird looking, but still it is really worth the mention because the improvement is again massive. A couple of days ago, don't ask me how long ago it was, I've lost count, but previously I've made a video about my opinion on the pruning of orchids when their flowers are done, and I want to show you the results. Here it is. We've actually got a really beautiful flower. Now the debate here was, if you did not see the video, that when the branch wants to continue on growing, I want to encourage the plant with fertilizing and just letting it be to just do what it wants. I will only cut the branch if I see that the plant itself is rejecting it. The traditional orchid pruning says that when the flowers just wilt and fall off the plant, then we cut the branch here at the next node, or even better at the bottom where it comes from, and this is because the plant will create a new branch that will actually deliver us more flowers and bigger flowers. But you can see that this is not the case. Maybe the number is a little less, You can see that the size is not compromised, and still we have 2 new blooms here, and I feel like it creates more. So this is my update on this orchid, and you can see the leaves are still okay, the roots are really good, and this flower is really stunning. The way that I choose to cultivate my plants is not actually out of calculations and just biology. Is actually the way that I see life and creation overall. So that is why I want to let things go and grow the way that they want, and I will only intervene if there is a strong reason to. Otherwise, I just support nature. And you can see that this is not failing, but creating more beauty. And we have a flower really early. If I got the plant here, I would have to wait a lot of months for it to just create a new branch and give me flowers. But I love this color so much, so this is the best option for me. And the last plant that I want to show you today is actually this Marble Queen Pothos that has such a great variegation thanks to the grow light that is above her. This plant has actually been losing the variegation, the contrast between the white and the green on her leaves, because it was in a low light condition, and this is what happens when you put plants with variegations in low light conditions. They tend to kind of revert back to a more normal green state, but when you just put them in a brighter spot, well, the variegation comes back, at least in this case, and you can see, for example, this leaf split in the middle. This has the most stunning variegation yet, and this one is fully variegated. I am so glad, happy, proud, amazed, all the good feelings about this lady, because I can see and I can tell that her self-development is going pretty well. I believe that May was my best month yet in 2023, and I just want to see how things will turn out in the upcoming months. But for now, if you made it this far in this video, I'm so glad that you shared your time with me, and I will see you in the next one.